The World Championship is what I am here for. I'd take winning the championship over winning a chase race any day of the week. I admire Tim Duncan, because he put on his hard hat and said, I'm going to stick it out. He was dedicated to one team and to winning a championship. Most of my recognition comes from us winning that championship. The words may not come out, Super Bowl III, because a lot of the folks at the grocery store, gas station or mall weren't even born when we won the Super Bowl, but they're aware of it. It has had a tremendous impact on my life since then. That's the one regret I have in all the years that I've played professional sports, that I didn't win a championship in the NFL. And that's why you play on any level of team sports, you want to win a championship as part of a team. If I were to doubt myself, I wouldn't even have a chance to be competing for the NXT Women's Championship. I was a referee in TCW in Carrollton, Georgia, doing turnbuckle championship wrestling, and it was 1,000 degrees in there, and it was completely sold out every Friday that we ran it. That was my dad's independent promotion. When I was 12, I had a coach tell me I would never be a championship pitcher. That devastated me. I was crushed. Since day one, my inception, when I came into the world, I had my eyes on power. The WWE Championship is power. The heartbeat of a football team is the quarterback position, and I think everyone who has any intelligence about the game understands you must have consistency at that position to be a championship team. I know to win a championship, you're not going to do it alone. You're going to have a great supporting cast. You can sit and imagine what it is like to go into a hostile stadium, or what it's like to play for the AFC Championship, but you never know until you do it. I grew up watching LeBron and asking him to follow me back on Twitter, going to his camps. So just to be able to compete against a player like him and be a few shots away from beating him and his team to go to a championship is something I will always remember. I think when you win the national championship, it works throughout your team, where human nature is to say, I did well. I got my quota this month. Now do I get some time off? Do I get a bonus? Do I get to go on a cruise? But it's not to keep trying to be the best. That's not necessarily human nature. I knew nothing about martial arts. The coach told me I was talented with learning martial arts, and put me in a school. 3 years later I got my first championship in China. But I was always a bit of a gypsy, anyway. I spent 5 years at Oklahoma State, 5 years at Miami and moved on after winning the national championship, and 5 years with the Cowboys. So, I was ready to move on. We won back-to-back Super Bowls, and I felt that I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. Any time you play in a USGA championship, if you don't drive the ball on the fairway, you're dead. You're done. If I get the MVP, it would be awesome, but I always put the NBA championship before. The process is never going to end. It's an ongoing thing. I don't think it's ever going to stop. As I have explained before, it's a process for making it to the playoffs, it's another one to make the conference finals, another one to actually go to the finals and win the championship. One can construct a strong legal and ethical argument for minimizing the fees that are paid to world sanctioning organizations in conjunction with championship bouts. It's not uncommon for skilled fighters to be denied championship opportunities while less talented but better connected boxers fight for belts. If you learn to sell, it's worth more than a degree. It's worth more than the heavyweight championship of the world. It's even more important than having $1 million in the bank. Learn to sell, and you'll never starve. A guy that's going to do all of the dirty work, that guy that is willing to defend anyone and do the little things and not really care about all of that other stuff. I think every championship team needs that. Who would have ever thought that, within a couple months of getting into the WWE, that I'd be wrestling in the main event for the World Championship, then, 9 months after getting here, actually being the world champion. A typical week of training leading up to a major championship is like the sprinkling of parsley at the end of a dish. It's just the final little touches, that last little bit of strength or fitness, but mostly you are ready and are just maintaining and staying healthy. I don't think a coach becomes the right coach until he wins a championship. I remember after that, when it was announced I was going to the Heisman ceremony, I didn't think I was going to win it because everybody was saying there was a bias against West Coast teams. I really hadn't paid attention to it. Winning the Heisman wasn't really a goal when I was younger. My goal was to go to USC and win a national championship. In football, a championship team is never bought, it's built with time and patience. Sure, the Super Bowl is the greatest prize in our sport, but winning a national championship, that's pretty darn great. But I remember back in 1998, the year after Peyton Manning left Tennessee, a lot of people didn't really give Tennessee a chance. There was a lesser-known T. Martin playing quarterback. He ended up leading them to a national championship in 1998, the year after Peyton left. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Winning a championship. Everything else is failure. That's the ultimate goal, is to win the championship. I saw 14 games in 2.5 months at Churchill. It was what I really signed for. They were eyeing the championship and also playing the AFC Cup. So I am very thankful for Churchill, the coaching staff and the players. A half marathon is a good way to have a bit of fun and race against those girls and learn a bit more about them. The World Half Marathon is a world championship at the end of the day, and it's important. I've won it twice and it's a quality event. Dad used to reminisce about the good old days when Everton won the old First Division Championship and the FA Cup back in the 1970s and 80s, but they weren't quite so good when I started supporting them. I've been on a team that won the World Championship of barbecue. But barbecue's interesting, because it's one of these cult foods like chili, or bouillabaisse. Various parts of the world will have a cult food that people get enormously attached to. There's tremendous traditions, there's secrecy. Even after you win the championship, the work doesn't stop, it probably only becomes more. I'm just basically focused on what I need to do. There's a lot that goes into this: diet, preparation, assembling the right people around you, sparring partners, coaches, etc., so I'm not enjoying anything. There's never been a southpaw fighter to make it 5 rounds with me. These are championship fights, and most of them can't even make it out of the normal rounds. Fought Chael Sonnen, TKO'd him in round 1. Fought Vitor Belfort. He made it to round 4 when I ended up submitting him. When I first started playing at Norwich, West Brom were in the championship, got promoted, got relegated, got promoted, got relegated, and all the time, they were building until they eventually stayed up. Huddersfield isn't one of the biggest fishes in the championship, and to get bigger you have to find new ways. I've been surprised by how open-minded and innovative everybody is at this club, not only the players but the whole staff, the whole management. I think when they put together this college football playoff, do you play a light schedule and put everything into your conference championship? That's not what I'm feeling across the country. They want to make every game important, which they have. Personally, I rather look forward to a computer program winning the World Chess Championship. Humanity needs a lesson in humility. You think the end of my freshman year, from nobody really knowing who I was to skyrocketing onto the scene in the national championship game, there's nothing but good things to say after that. Then you get into the spotlight and it turns to hate. When you are playing for the national championship, it's not a matter of life or death. It's more important than that. I had a pretty good sequence of games at the World Under-18 Championship, but our main goal was to win gold there, and we didn't. I'd trade all 20 of my points there for a gold medal, but I feel like I had a pretty good tournament. Somebody asked me, how come it took you so long to win a national championship? And I said, I'm a slow learner, but you notice when I learn something, I have it down pretty good. I grew up in Tampa, Florida, and St. Pete, Tampa, the Tampa Bay area, and that was the home of championship wrestling from Florida with Gordon Soley, Dusty Rhodes, and it was just, for storylines and angles and promos, it was second to none. I can hold my own when it comes to burping. I've got a good feeling that I could win a championship. When I went to Baylor on a basketball scholarship, and when I thought about the future as a freshman, one achievement I wanted more than any individual award was a national championship. I think that winning a 3rd world championship would really take me up to another level in the sport. I receive huge support from Irish and British sports fans alike, and it is greatly appreciated. Likewise, I feel I have a great affinity with the American sports fans. I play most of my golf in the US nowadays, and I am incredibly proud to have won the US Open and USPGA Championship in the last 2 years. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.